A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant legal setback for former President Donald Trump, a federal appeals court has ruled that he overstepped his authority by imposing sweeping import duties on nearly all countries. The 7-4 ruling from the Washington, D.C. court marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing debate over presidential powers concerning trade policy. The court stated that while U.S. law grants the president substantial authority in response to national emergencies, it does not extend to imposing tariffs or taxes. This ruling is likely to escalate to the U.S. Supreme Court, which will ultimately determine the legality of Trump's controversial tariff policies. The case revolves around tariffs Trump introduced on April 2nd, dubbed Liberation Day by the former president. These tariffs included a 10% baseline on virtually all of the U.S.'s trading partners and reciprocal tariffs on countries he accused of unfair trade practices. Notably, Lesotho, a small African nation, faced a staggering 50% tariff, while even uninhabited islands populated only by penguins were subjected to a 10% tariff. The appeals court found that Trump's measures were unbounded in scope, amount, and duration, asserting that the president's actions exceeded the express limitations of the law used to implement them. Typically, tariffs require congressional approval, but Trump argued that he had the authority to impose them under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEPA, which allows the president to regulate international transactions during a national emergency. The court's ruling upheld a previous decision from a federal trade court in New York that deemed Trump's tariffs illegal. However, it also delayed the implementation of the ruling until October 14th, giving the Trump administration time to appeal to the Supreme Court. This delay could have significant financial implications, as the government has warned that striking down the tariffs could necessitate refunds of the import taxes collected, which have generated $159 billion in revenue by July, more than double that of the previous year. Trump's response to the ruling was swift and defiant. He took to social media, criticizing the decision and labeling the appeals court as highly partisan. He claimed that the removal of tariffs would lead to total disaster for the country and insisted that tariffs were a critical tool for protecting American workers, despite evidence suggesting that the costs of tariffs are often passed on to consumers. The court's decision raises questions about the future of Trump's trade agenda, which has already created economic and political uncertainty both domestically and internationally. The ruling could hinder Trump's ability to impose future tariffs, as alternative laws would limit the scope and speed of such actions. The Trade Act of 1974, which the court referenced, restricts tariffs to 15% and only for a duration of 150 days on countries with which the U.S. has significant trade deficits. The implications of this ruling are far-reaching. It not only challenges the extent of presidential power in trade matters, but also reflects a growing concern among lawmakers about the unchecked authority previously granted to the executive branch. The outcome of this case could reshape the landscape of U.S. trade policy and redefine the balance of power between Congress and the presidency. As this legal battle unfolds, businesses and consumers alike will be watching closely, as the potential for increased tariffs or the removal of existing ones could have profound effects on the economy. With inflation fears already looming and global markets reacting to Trump's erratic trade policies, the stakes are high for both the former president and the nation as a whole. The Supreme Court's eventual decision on this matter will likely set a precedent for how trade policies are crafted and implemented in the future. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.